Hello and welcome. You're watching First Stick here on News 9, where we bring to you the morning buzz on Dalal Street. I am Sayash Maheshwari, and with me in the studio, as always, is Amit Ranjan. And it's a Monday morning and a start of a brand new financial year. We are entering FY25 and the markets, they have opened at a record high. Nifty has touched a new record high of 22,529 mark in the opening trade itself. And it's not just the headliners that are moving higher. The broader markets are participating as well as they continue on their path of recovery. Look at the broader markets. Both of them are up over 1% this morning. And as far as the sectors are concerned, most of them are trading in the green. And the overall breadth of the market is also overwhelmingly in the favor of the bulls. Now, remember, we are returning after a gap of 3 days, so there is a bit of a vacuum as far as the global cues are concerned. Amit, coming to you, no major movement as well. I think, the market participants are celebrating the Easter holidays.
Easter holiday, but there is movement in the Asian markets. Gold hit a record high. You spoke about records. That's another record. And the Chinese manufacturing PMI rose for the first time since September. So it has basically broken the September record hit that it had recorded at that time. But when it comes to the Western markets, they closed in a mixed bag. Dow Jones closed in the positive at 0.12%, S&P 500 0.11%, Nasdaq was in the negative at 0.12%. Tesla was down, Apple was down, Nvidia slightly positive. When we come to the European market, slightly in the positive at 0.18%. Hang Seng this morning is in the positive at 0.91%. Nikkei, however, is in the negative at minus 1.15%.
All right, and
so good news in the Asian markets, but not so much anywhere else.
All right, and other cues, pretty much flat on a day-on-day basis. If you look at the bond yields, they are pretty much stagnant at the 4.2% mark. The dollar index hasn't moved much, but Amit, Brent crude, it's inching higher. It has moved past $87 a barrel this morning. But, speaking to the experts, they are saying that, we are not in that uncomfortable territory just yet. $90 a barrel on Brent crude is where perhaps Indian markets will start feeling the heat. But overall, a positive setup. We got the PCE, figures, in the US, the inflation figure, which is the preferred gauge for US Federal Reserve. Now, that pretty much came in line with what the market was expecting. But overall, if you look at the commentary that is coming out from the Federal Reserve, members, that there is a bit of a divergence there. Mr. Powell is saying that, he's sounding more and more dovish. He pretty much reiterated what he said back when the inflation data and when the policy decision came out. But, Christopher Wallace, who's another voting member, he is pretty much of the view that it would be prudent to hold, interest rates higher for longer, considering that inflation is slightly picking up. January and February were slightly, hotter than expectations. So that perhaps could play, how the markets would move forward. But speaking of the markets here in India, we are inching higher. We have scaled a new record high on Nifty. Sensex is not just there yet. It's, about 100, 200 points shy of it. But the broader markets, tremendous recovery over there. Just a month ago, we were talking about a meltdown in the broader markets. Both Sensex and the Nifty Mid-Cap 100 and the Small-Cap 100, they were pretty much in a free-fall mode. And, sentiment was at its negative around that mid-March period. But since then, we have seen a very sharp recovery. Both indices have pretty much retraced about 61.8% of the entire fall from record high to March low. So broader markets will be keenly eyed, and also nice to see volatility come down. India VIX has declined by about 2.3% and we are closer to 12.5 levels. Remember, we had spent a lot of time in that 15-16 zone, but now we are back in that 12 zone, which is comfortable for traders here. And among sectors, most of them are participating in this up move, and I'm looking at the breadth of this market, Amit. It's overwhelmingly in favor of the bulls. Currently, Nifty, only 2 stocks are trading in the red, whereas 48 stocks are in the green. If you look at the overall market, 2,100 stocks are in the green and only 200 stocks are declining. So pretty much the advance decline ratio is, 4:1, meaning 4 stocks are advancing for every 1 stock that's declining. So overall the setup is looking very positive. But can this momentum continue? Because time and again we have seen a bit of a reversal around that 22,500 mark. Even this morning we have pretty much we did scale a record high. We just moved about 3 points higher from the previous record high, but bit of a retracement we are seeing from that level, and Nifty currently has moved below the 22,500 mark. But April is a positive month for the market. You can see Nifty in the April FNO series has done very well. In fact, in the last 4 April series, 3 Aprils we have delivered positive returns. In 2023 Nifty was up 5% in just April alone. Can we repeat that feat? To answer that, let's bring on board Avni Bhatt, Senior Vice President at JM Financial. Thank you for joining us here on News 9, Avni. We are starting a new financial year, and what a way to start FY25. Nifty is at record high. The overall setup is looking much more positive than it was looking just last week. What's your sense of things now?
Good morning, Suyash and Amit and all the viewers, and best wishes for the new financial year. So coming to Nifty, we need to see some key data points. First is the rollover figure. The rollovers in Nifty are at 70% against its last 3 months average of 80%. So rollovers are on the slightly on the lower side, but that also means that the froth is out of the market. And the FII long short ratio, the month April month is starting with FII long short ratio at 45%, which was in March at 35%. So FII's outlook is slightly positive on the index. I mean, better than what it was in the month of March. And the most crucial data point is on Bank Nifty. The rollovers are pretty high at 87% versus the last 3 months average of 74%. Now, in my view, I think Bank Nifty rollovers are quite high, and I believe that excess of good is also evil. So I have a slightly contrarian view here. We will be seeing a positive momentum until 48,000 on Bank Nifty, but post that, sustenance is going to be a question. Only and only above 48,000. Once Bank Nifty closes above 48,000, then we'll see a runaway rally till 49,500 and probably 50,000 also. But sustenance is going to be an issue around 48,000 level. So this is a crucial level one should be watching out for. As far as Nifty is concerned, I think 22,530 is the major resistance area. If Nifty closes above that, then we are heading towards 22,800. So setup looks a little slightly better for Nifty. Bank Nifty is in a good position right now for 48,000 levels. But beyond that, we'll have to check out the data, how the options data also pans out in this week. So, but the good part for both the indices is that the supports are in place, and 22,200 is the immediate support level for Nifty, and 47,000 and 46,900. These are this 100-point range is the support area for Bank Nifty. If at all, for some reason, we break 46,900, then again the immediate next support comes at 46,600. So no major chances of any major correction. We are in a positive territory. It's just that all-time high levels on Bank Nifty, whether we'll be able to see or not, that's going to be a question going ahead.
Good morning, Avni. Now, Newgen Software Technologies Limited has been in the news. They have gotten 3 orders, for one worth 49.84 crores, the other one worth 1.1 million from a multinational partner, and a third one, a letter of intent worth 2.07. If I look at the stock itself, the last 1 year, this stock has given returns to the tune of 257%. It was down for the last 1 month, but today it is also up, slightly up 0.03%. Steam left in this, or is it a time to basically wait and watch right now, let these orders get executed?
So Amit, as I see, this is a very positive news that you've mentioned, and it's already digested by the market, going by the opening price action in the stock. But the good part is it's overall it's in a good shape, and the required correction that was there, it's already seen. It had corrected up to 678, and now it's again moving up. So overall structure is positive. I think it will take some time, but gradually it should move up to the area of around 870. The support is in place at around 765.
All right, that's for Newgen Software. Another stock that is on our radar is Titan Industries, and it's been on a phenomenal run in the past couple of weeks. March 19th, it formed a doji candle, and then we saw a hammer sort of a formation. And in the 7 out of the last 6 sessions, it has delivered positive returns. Now, there's a buy call from Motilal Oswal as well. It expects a target price of Titan to reach a target of 4,300. Avni, what's your take over here? We are seeing a bit of a reversal. The volumes are good. Can Titan continue to move higher?
Yes, so Titan, as I see, it's on the verge of a weekly breakout about 3838. And as you rightly pointed out, the volumes are good. So I think this breakout should happen in a course of time, probably in a very short time. And we should be heading towards around 4,000 levels. The support is placed at 3720. So for this particular stock, any kind of dip should be bought into. Breakout is on the cards.
Dips should be bought into in Titan. But Avni, what are your picks for our investors today?
So this week we've curated a list of 5 April stocks, I would call them, for this month, based on the rollover figures and option matrix. So one can buy these stocks at current levels and add more on dips up to around 3 to 4% in case the market sees some profit booking. So one can decide on the position sizing accordingly. My first pick, the A of April, is going to be Ambuja Cement. One can add in the range of 612 to dips up to 605. Target for the stock will be 650, and stop loss has to be kept at 594. The P for April is going to be Power Grid. One can buy in the range of 270 to 276 for a target of 295 and 300, and stop loss at 265. The third pick is going to be Reliance. Reliance has seen a very good momentum pickup in the later half of the March series. And it's in a very good shape to, I think, cross 3,000 level and move ahead. So 2970 to 2940 is the range where one can accumulate Reliance for a target of 3,100 and stop loss at 2870. I would be ICICI Prudential. One can buy in the range of 608 to 600. And target would be 655, stop loss 588. And the last stock is L&T. So L&T, one can accumulate with this. We had given it last week also, and we are still positive on this stock. So one can accumulate in the range of 3760 to 3720. Target is at 4,000, and stop loss can be kept at 3575.
All right, those are the 5 picks. A lot of large caps on the radar of Avni. A for Ambuja, B for Power Grid, R for Reliance, I for ICICI, and L for L&T. That's the call coming in from Avni. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving us time here on News 9. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
With that, let's slip into a short break. On the other side, Gaurang Shah of Geojet Financial Services joins us.
Forty countries, 1,000 multilingual bookstalls, 1.25 lakh people, one destination, the New Delhi World Book Fair 2024.
So it's a great honour to be here. Thank you to the National Book Trust and those that have embraced us over recent days.
I was at the London Book Fair once and I had not participated here, but this fair is an ocean and it's beautiful.
This should be your annual spring picnic.
Through the power of knowledge, we are going to create responsible citizens with global skills and also global responsibility.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Film and entertainment is definitely one of the levers for any country to build its brand.
We are getting global. I feel that we're just on the takeoff.
more and more films are becoming language agnostic.
Content is a universal language.
There's one audience in the world.
Absolutely. End of the day, we all are like brothers who have mutual respect for each other from a different land.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
We are trying a lot of experiments, innovations and ideas.
We came out with a new format in audio, which is audio series.
Listening for content-oriented company in India, which is a very unique proposition.
When you look at audio in general, we had music, which is like extremely old format, and then we had podcast.
A natural extension to Pocket FM is to move from Hindi to regional content. I think I'd love to see their FY24 numbers, which they claim will be close to 1,000 crores. I think there are talks of them to raise another $80 to $100 million of funding.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
The football is mother of all games.
It is a team sport.
The leadership attitude is taking the ownership.
It's always a big responsibility to take decisions and the right decisions.
I always question the stereotypical.
And that's why you are in that position.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
Welcome back. You're watching First Stick here on News 9, and the markets, they are back above 22,500. We were seeing a bit of a reversal around that record high levels. Nifty had slipped below the 22,500 mark, but we are back above it and moving higher, just about 10 points shy of the new record, which sits at 22,529 mark. Sensex continues to move higher as well. It's up 0.77%, and this is as of 10 a.m. this morning. But the broader markets, I mean, brilliant recovery over there. Nifty Midcap 100 is up 1.22% at 48,661. But the small cap index is stealing the show this morning. It continues to be the strongest segment of the market. It's up over 2% at 15,591. But remember, it's a event heavy week. We have the RBI policy meet. The decision comes out on Friday, which is April 5th. We also have, auto sales number, which will start trickling in just a couple of hours from now. And remember, we also, are in the earnings season. The fourth quarter earnings season begins in the second week of April, but we will have business updates from the FMCG and the banking names, which will start coming in maybe this week or this time, later this week or so. But, to understand how much higher can the market go, because remember, April has been a positive series for the market. Let's bring on board Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President at Geojet Financial Services. Thank you for joining us here on First Stick, Gaurang. Season greetings to you. And the markets, they are back at record high, and what a start to FY25. By the way, April has been a historically positive one for our markets. And even if you look at the rally last year, the big rally only began from April. Can we repeat the feat this time around, Gaurang? Because, overall the setup looks very positive. Or will sticky food inflation, the surge in crude oil prices and higher yields in the US, will they play a spoilsport?
Thank you, Suyash, and morning to all of you all, and season's greeting to all of you all as well. So if US has to throw a joker in terms of inflation numbers coming above the comfort limit, I think it is Mr. Powell and his team and the Americans who have to worry. To look at inflation over here, we are not going to go to US to buy a kg of rice or wheat, are we? So we are in a comfort zone, and I don't think we need to worry about it. Yeah, news flows from US will keep on bothering us and rest of the world. depending upon which way the news flow is. So I'm not really concerned about that. I'm concerned about the triggers that happens in our country. As you rightly mentioned, 5th April, Friday is the credit policy. Moreover, I think Suresh is going to be a status quo. Focus will be on the commentary from the Honorable RBI Governor in terms of when do we see that silver lining in terms of rate cut in case if he has to say anything. But knowing him, he's a man of few words when it comes to rate cuts. I think it's all data dependent. So we'll have to wait for the data to settle down and for the inflation to be in the comfort zone, elbow room, as we call it, for the rate cuts to happen. But second week onwards, I think earnings that could possibly give us some kind of sense of direction. Sectorally and company specific, you will see performance depending upon how the Q4 numbers unfold. And more than US, I think we have to look forward for the first phase of elections starting, kicking off 19th of April, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And I think, as I mentioned earlier, you have a long, elongated election period going up to 1st of June. And then 4th of June, you'll have the results of the elections that have underwent. So I think markets will be a little bit choppy. And, last April, we didn't have the election on the horizon. So to expect the similar reflection, I think it would be a little bit of expecting a little bit much more. I think let's go step by step, given the backdrop of events that are lined up.
Fair enough, sir. But speaking of the RBI policy meet, you pointed out that status quo is expected. I think markets will not be surprised by that answer. Most of us are expecting a status quo, but some are expecting a shift in stance. I mean, they are expecting, withdrawal, that withdrawal of accommodation stance to shift to perhaps a more neutral stance and, prepare that runway for rate cuts down the road. What do you think happens? When do you think that rate cut first happens? Do we wait till August or October until there is some visibility on the monsoon turnout as well?
So monsoon is going to be a little bit better than what we saw last time because of the forecast that has been given out. Normal to above normal is what the expectation is. I think it's a little bit early. A lot of things can happen in the high seas as far as the temperatures are concerned, but that's the comfort zone. And you know what, Suyesh, I think even this time around, Mr. Powell said that there is a possibility of a rate cut 3 times this year.
Right.
He has not mentioned any date. He has not mentioned any time. He has not mentioned any quantum. But somehow the market experts start jumping in and saying, no, this is the rate cut that will happen. This is the rate cut. I mean, let's wait. And similarly, even for us, Suresh, I think a consistent downtick on the inflation has to be there before logically coming to a conclusion on the rate cut. You can't be doing flip and flop as far as rates cuts are concerned. I think it will not speak very wisely. So consistently, if you have month on month inflation number coming somewhere around 4 or sub 4%, which will take time from where we are right now. So I don't expect any announcement on the rate cut sooner. And like I said, don't expect the RBI, though there will be a lot of questions that will come to him as to when he'll announce the rate cuts. But as we know him, he's a man of very few words when it comes to these kind of statements. And like I said, it all is going to be data dependent, not 1-2 months, but consistently couple of months as far as inflationary numbers are concerned.
Good morning, Gaurang. Going by the expectations in the US Fed rate cuts, now their inflation is still far away from the 2% mark that they are targeting. And prices of commodities have more or less doubled in the last one and a half years. Do you think there is a chance that even in June, where all the analysts are expecting that there is a first rate cut, it does not happen because they are still far away from the target of 2% inflation?
And to add to what Amit is saying, I mean, Mr. Powell is sounding more and more dovish, but there is a bit of a divergence that is playing out between other members and Mr. Powell. They are saying it will be prudent to perhaps wait and watch. Let's, wait. I mean, pretty much what you are saying, Gaurang.
Exactly. Why everybody wants to become Powell here? I mean, he can do his job here. Come on, I mean, we have to give it to him. Even over here, RBI has not spoken about it. Honorable Governor has not spoken about it. But people have started to jump to a conclusion that maybe before the monsoon, maybe if the forecast, like you rightly mentioned, if it is good. So, in rate cuts, maybe word does not come in, Suresh. It has to be data and it has to be on paper. It has to be realistic. You can't be assuming something and cutting rates, not only for us as a central bank, Reserve Bank of India, But any central bank in the world would not be maybe dependent and doing rate cuts. They will actually want the rate data to come through, not only for 1 month, but for a couple of months consistently, and then possibly we will hear. So let's be patient, Suyash. I think we've lived for so long with this kind of an interest rate scenario. What is the harm for giving it another couple of months?
Enough, sir. But moving on from what the central banks around the world are going to do, let's look at auto sales number. Amit, the numbers for the March auto sales number will start trickling in just about a couple of hours from now. What are the expectations?
Okay, passenger vehicle growth has slowed down, but it's still good. Two-wheeler sales has done well, is doing well, and expectations are that the weakness is basically in the commercial vehicles segment. Now, I'll just take some time in this background that the numbers that we show, if we look at the PE ratio of Nifty Auto, the 5-year PE ratio median is more than the current PE ratio, and we put it if we put it next to the weighted moving averages of the last 200 days, the auto stocks are trading much above the last 200 days weighted moving averages. Looking at the stocks themselves, like commercial vehicle stocks, Eicher Motors, Isuzu are the ones who have not done so well. Two-wheeler stocks, Hero Moto, Bajaj are doing well. Tata Motors, Maruti, M&M have exposure more or less everywhere apart from, but they are doing well. My question, sir, to Gaurang sir, two parts. First part, how do you look at the auto sector from here? Is it still wait and watch, considering that the PE ratio is much lesser currently than the 5-year median? So are the investors waiting and watching to basically jump in when the time is right? Is that the kind of phase we are going through in this sector?
No. As far as auto sector is concerned, we have already jumped. And we positive on the auto sector right from the time that Chinese chip semiconductor issue was there. And the entire world thought that that is the end of the world for the auto sector. And we saw auto index and auto stocks correcting 5-10%, Amit, at that point of time. So if we were positive and everything was, all doom and dusted, I don't see any reason why we have to be underweight right now. In fact, let me give a blanket disclosure. Other than Escorts Kubota, we positive on almost all the auto manufacturing companies, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, commercial vehicle, tractor, agri equipment. Even something like Electra Green Tech, which is purely into EVs, we've been positive on that. You look at the number of launches, not only from overall, but even company specific. Tata Motors is going to launch somewhere around 4 new vehicles. A couple of them are going to be revived avatar of the existing models. Couple of them are going to be new launches of a very old model. I'm sure you must have heard about it. Tata Sumo is going to get launched in a new avatar, which used to be one of the kings of the road at that point of time. Similarly, you look at M&M, you look at Hyundai, though they are not the listed entities. You look at M&M, you look at two-wheelers. I think it's going to be an exciting time, and I'll go on one step further. Normally, I don't make any forward-looking statements, Amit. I think on the sectorial allocation, if I have to identify two sectors with, say, about a year, 2-year kind of time horizon, then that's going to be banking and finance and autos. I think these sectors are going to be looking very interesting in terms of earning visibility.
Gaurang, I wanted to pick your mind on the commercial vehicle section. Now, is the weakness due to the fact that the loans in this segment, especially tractors, are much dearer than passenger vehicle loans, probably because they are unsecured and they are for a longer period of time? Is that the reason why the commercial vehicle segment is slightly weak? The numbers are expected to be slightly weaker than the two-wheelers or the passenger vehicle segments.
So I think for the CV segment to pick up numbers month on month, Amit, it's going to take a while because we have to see the entire economy revive. Whether it is to do with mining, whether it is to do with construction equipment, whether it is to do with scrappage policy, or whether it is to do with any kind of government notification in terms of changes. So commercial vehicle will normally take a little bit more time, and I don't think it would be right to compare PVs and commercial vehicle in terms of pure apple to apple, because both of them are a different category of vehicles. So yes, but revival is there. I would not say that revival will not come through for CVs. It will come through, and that's one of the reason why even names like Ashok Leyland, M&M, and Tata Motors, even Eicher Motors, which has a JV with Volvo, they have already started to work on the next generation commercial vehicle to hit the roads. And I think once we have clarity on green hydrogen, which is a possibility in maybe possibly another year and a half, I think you will have more enthusiasm for the CV segment.
All right, that's the word coming in from Gaurang Shah. Sir, great insights from you as always. Thank you for giving us your time here on News 9.
Thank you so much.
But before we wrap things up, let's look at how the markets are doing, because Nifty again has reversed pretty. I mean, it's not reversed course, it's still hovering in that 22,500 area. And remember, it has been a critical hurdle for the index because of one, that is the record high levels, and index has reversed course at least twice from these sort of levels. So perhaps keep an eye out on that. So for a further up move, maybe Nifty needs to break out, with conviction above that 22,500 and 30 or sort of levels. Sensex also continues to move higher, but it's still within about 300-400 points shy of its respective record high. But the broader markets, the recovery is phenomenal over there. Remember, just a month ago we were talking about a broader meltdown. In fact, everyone was talking about it, not just the market participants. The regulator was also worried about froth building up in the system, and they asked mutual fund houses to conduct the stress test report every 15 days to perhaps assess the liquidity of funds focused on the mid and the small caps. But the recovery again has been really good. The mid cap index this morning is up 1.3%. It's moving, it has in fact moved past 48,700 mark. It has in fact retraced almost 78.6% of that entire fall from record level of about 49,780 to the recent low of 45,293. We have retraced about 78.6% of that entire fall. And if I look at the small cap index, I mean, this morning is the strongest segment of the market, and even over there, that particular pocket has recovered by about 61.8% of that entire fall. And even the overall setup, we were talking about the market breadth this morning. It's heavily in the favor of bulls. Remember, in March, when we were witnessing some bit of a shakeout, not in just the broader markets, but in Nifty and the headliners as well, the breadth of the market was overwhelmingly in the favor of the bears. At one point, I remember, there were 22 stocks falling for every one stock that was rising. That we are seeing a bit of a reversal from those levels. This morning, it's heavily in favor of the bulls. About 4 stocks are advancing for every one stock that's declining. And even if you look at Nifty, the breadth, 44 stocks are on the way up, whereas only 6 stocks are declining. And looking at the sectors, your performers are doing well, and the laggards, or they are also participating on the up move. FMCG, for example, is up 0.5% this morning. Remember, it has been a laggard for the majority of time. And Nifty Bank, I think for Nifty to move higher from here on and perhaps scale record high levels and maybe move towards 23,000 by the end of April series, it has to be Nifty Bank that takes that leadership role. It has that 35 to 35% weightage on Nifty, and it has been a laggard. But if you look at historical performance of Nifty Bank in April series, actually April has been a great month for Nifty Bank. Last April, Nifty Bank delivered a return of about 3% or so in the April series. This morning, we are witnessing a very strong start for Nifty Bank as well, and it's a large private banks that are participating on the upside. HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, all of them are on their way up and participating and providing that much needed push to Nifty Bank. Even the PSU banks, they are playing a part. They are up about 1.3% as well. And speaking of other sectors that have been laggards lately, the IT pack, it's up 0.75%. Remember, we had seen a bit of a shakeout in the IT pack also after Accenture cut down its revenue guidance. But a bit of a resurgence is seen at lower levels, and your larger IT players, they are, doing fairly better. Even if you listen to what the experts out there are saying, currently the outlook, or at least as far as, the discretionary spending of US clients is concerned, it's not picked up just yet. But with Mr. Powell and others saying that, there is a clear path to, when the interest rate cuts are going to happen. I mean, not when, but at least they are planning to, go for rate cuts starting perhaps maybe June of this year. Maybe that discretionary budgets are revised, maybe that picks up. And since we know that, our IT companies have a significant exposure to European and US markets, their discretionary budget going up would also, mean good news for our IT companies as well. And some bit of a reversal we are seeing in, because of that. But overall, the setup looks extremely positive. It's an event heavy week. We have a lot of binary events also for the, for the next few months. We have elections, we have RBI policy meet. So perhaps it will be a choppy ride, but as far as the current setup looks, it looks like the market could be, on a verge of a breakout and maybe perhaps continue to move higher from there on. On that note, let's end this show. We'll see you at 4 with Last Take, but up next is World Business Report.
Film and entertainment is definitely one of the levers for any country to build its brand.